You're just waiting for me to start talking, right? About my hair. Do you see what you're not recording, you are recording. Jeez.
I just hit it. I just hit it
Eh,
just now.
I can't trust that you'll cut stuff out, Mo, so I have to like refrain from saying things because I listened to the last one and I thought that's where you started this episode, Mo, is on this.
You told me to be like Joe Rogan. Are we recording? Yeah, we've been recording. The
Oh,
Joe Rogan
gee.
of reselling.
Yeah. Yeah, let's start reselling some merch like Joe is
I,
and
I need a I
gummies.
need a
Oh, that's Sean
cigar
Ryan.
and a good conspiracy theory.
I think that we can do the conspiracy theory, but maybe we should make some flippin' fantastic cigars, Mo. That'll be our first merch. Robert Kennedy would definitely approve of that. For starting to smoke on the first week of our new presidency, which is
Don't inhale. Just don't inhale.
oh my gosh, a little
Ugh.
Clinton-esque. I do like the smell of cigars though. Like, you
Yeah,
know.
the smell, but like I
Hmm.
don't know that I would. Ugh.
No, no. I mean, and they're unfiltered too. They're just like
Oh
straight
yeah.
up. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, tobacco leaves. Is that what it is? Just straight up rolled up
I
in a.
guess.
No, thank
I've
you. But I
never
do like the
I've
smell of it.
never yeah, I've never personally smoked one.
I don't think I have either. Maybe like, like an inhale or something. I don't know. But no, I never smoked either. Did you smoke? So
I got coffee, go away. Oh my
I'd
god.
like some coffee, Drew. Thank you. Maybe he can bring us some cigars.
He's sitting right there while I made coffee, like he could smell it. He was on the phone, but oh my god. Anyway,
You're leaving
he
that
heard
in
me
too.
talking.
It's still us, Mo and Amy from the Flippin' Fantastic podcast. This is just our behind the scenes where we talk about everything and anything except for reselling. Make sure you subscribe and take a listen. Bye.
I have never smoked a cigar. I've smoked cigarettes, but I wasn't a smoker.
Uh-huh.
But you know how like don't do this, kids, but when you're really drunk and somebody hands you a cigarette and then you smoke
Right.
it. That
Yeah.
was it. I had my senior year of college, I lived in this house with these girls and they were all there was all but one was a smoker. Well, me and one.
Yeah.
Both. But we had parties. And the one party, I don't know what I drank, but I smoked a lot and I could not breathe the next morning and had the worst sinus infection of my entire life.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that was pretty much it for me.
Oh my gosh. Did they smoke inside too?
Yeah.
Oh
Hmm. But
no,
that
you're
but this
kidding.
was this was the
The
this was the
90s.
early 90s when people
Hmm.
still smoked everywhere, so
Yeah.
you were more used to it.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I know kids these days, like, have no idea, but people smoked everywhere. There was a smoking section in the restaurant. Everybody smoked at the bars.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
People smoked in their houses. That was like a whole thing when Stranger Things came on and like the mom smoking in the house and people were like up in arms. It was like, that's the
That was
80s. Like
normal. Yeah.
people smoked in their house. Like they just did. There was ashtrays in everybody's house.
It is funny to think to look back on that. Like I had
Yeah.
friends, families, parents that smoked in the house. And
Yeah.
when I look back at it, it's just so crazy to
Yeah.
think about that. Like, nobody smoked in my family or I.
Yeah.
So when I would go over their house, it would just smell, everything would smell like smoke, you
Right. And
know?
that's how it was. Yeah. My parents didn't smoke either, but you'd go to like the one friend's house your dad smoked or somebody smoked. Well, like my
Yeah.
mother-in-law smokes. She still smokes.
In the
She's like
house?
88 years old.
In the house?
Yes. Oof.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
It's rough when
crazy.
we after we visit and we come home, I have to get in the shower and wash my hair because my hair
Yeah.
it just, clings.
Yeah. I remember going to like, I had two friends that I can specifically remember that had family members that smoked in the house. And, my parents knew where I was because I'd come home and I would smell like smoke. Like if I spent the night at their house and stuff like that, I
Yeah.
would just come
Mhm.
home and just smell like smoke. But it's
Right.
crazy. And I worked at a bar
Uh-huh.
that
Yeah.
you could smoke in the bar
Right.
before I mean, not halfway. Was it about halfway? Yeah, maybe about halfway through is when they banned indoor smoking or
Yeah,
whatever.
it was like the mid to late 90s when stuff started, like people like individual places started, and then
Mm.
like I know here it like they had a law that banned it, but like some places like just didn't allow it after a
Yeah,
certain.
yeah, yeah. Ours was definitely in the 2000s when
Yeah,
you had
probably
to stop
yeah.
smoking. I think it had to been early. It was the early 2000s. But I remember like it was a bar. Like you mean you could eat there because it was the law. You couldn't just have bars. But anyway, I can
Yeah.
remember being outside at night, like right before closing, and the door would open and you would just see smoke billowing out the front door. To think that I breathed that in for 8 years, 7 years, 8 years, however
Yeah,
long I worked there. Or
yeah.
not, I guess not the whole time because halfway through they stopped. But I didn't even I think I've said this before. I didn't even realize I had a smoker's cough until I quit working there
Oh,
because
yeah.
it cleared up. Like I didn't even realize it because that was just my
Mhm.
job. So
Yeah.
thank goodness. I think it says, what do they say? It takes you the same amount of time that you smoked to like clear your lungs up again from it, whatever. You know what I mean?
My
So
my
it's
mo
gone.
my mother-in-laws are gonna have to clear up in her next lifetime.
Yes, yes, for
Like
sure.
I had like I had a grandfather that smoked. Most of everybody in my family that still smokes has stopped. Like I had an
Mhm.
aunt that smoked, she stopped, finally stopped. I have a cousin that still smokes. And she was like real particularly close to our grandfather that smoked, and that ultimately was his end. Like that's why he died. I mean,
Yeah.
he was old, but he lived till he was like
Mhm.
80 something, but
It
it
does
was
definitely doesn't
the
help you.
lungs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely doesn't help
And
you. So
she still smokes. We're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you smoke." It's
yeah.
Delaware was one of the places that like kind of first banned it,
Oh,
outright.
really? Oh.
It was up there. I know like there were some other places, but then Delaware was like leading the pack of that. And so it was pretty early on. We worked Drew where I met Drew, we worked at JP Morgan, and they had big lot of offices here. The job that we did was originally in New York several years before they had brought it down here. So there was a few people left that came from New York, but
Uh-huh.
most of the people that we worked with were like younger and us. And Drew worked there a couple years before me. They smoked in the office up there.
Oh my
Like, and
gosh.
everybody we worked with smoked.
That's
Like that
crazy.
came from New York. Everybody from New York smoked. Well, the president or CEO or whatever of JP
Mhm.
Morgan, he was a smoker. They had a patio in at that place outside with heat lamps for
Stop.
the smokers.
That's crazy.
But everybody we worked with, I can't think of a single person that came from New York. They smoked in the office up there. So when they came down here and they couldn't smoke in the building,
They quit?
no, they had to put the smoking thing
Yes.
out there for
Yeah.
them.
That's insane. I know that, I know I've talked about it. I was a X-ray tech, CT tech in the hospital, like
Yeah.
an ER,
Hmm.
and one of my bosses, she was how old was she then? I don't even know. I'll just say late 50s, 60s. Sorry, maybe she wasn't. I think she was. She was really pretty. She looked like, Martha Stewart. You know how Martha Stewart has, like, aged nicely? Like, she's really
Yes.
pretty. She used to tell us stories that she worked in that hospital. Like, that was her first job as a X-ray tech, and then she moved up to, like, the whatever the boss is of that department. She used to tell us stories, like like on a Saturday, she would, like, come in, and one of the radiologists, he had to have been in his 70s, like, he was older. He was older guy. They had worked together the whole time, all the way through the, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and
Right.
she would tell us stories that back in the early days of, like, X-ray, you had to basically, like, use developer, kinda like, photographs, how like,
Okay.
use developer
Hmm.
and stuff like that? So you had to be in
Yeah.
a black room or a dark
Hmm.
room, and the way that you would do the x-rays is you would be in the dark room and then there would be like not a window, but kind of like one of those double doors so you can put it in and then so the light couldn't get in, it's like a
Right. Hmm.
double window type thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, she said they would smoke inside the dark room and smoke in there, and there's chemicals and stuff. And I said, "You've got to be
Uh-huh.
kidding me." She's like, "No." And then I would, I'd lift the one door to push the X-rays through, and there'd be ashes and stuff. And then I'd close the door. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me." And
Yep.
there's oxygen obviously all over the hospital, and you're not
Right.
supposed to smoke around oxygen. I was baffled. I was like, "Oh my God, this is
My
crazy." And
um
now when you're at a hospital, you have to, like, go 500 feet away from the campus to smoke.
oh yeah.
Like, if
Mhm.
you see people well, at least here, if you see people smoking, like, away from the hospital, that's, like, how far you have to go. I
Right.
just that blew my mind, Mo.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. No,
smoking in the developing room.
my
Mm-mm.
mom worked at the hospitals around here her entire like she worked in the hematology lab and
Mhm.
she'll tell you they all smoked. Like I mean, she did well, she my mom did smoke and then she quit like cold turkey before I was born. Like the doctors all smoked. Everybody smoked.
Wow. That's yeah, I just think that's crazy to think that you're wearing your scrubs or whatever you were wearing back in the day.
Mhm.
Scrubs, you got a cigarette in your hand, and you're, like, pushing X-rays to the
Yeah.
radiologist, and I can only imagine what she didn't tell us happened.
I have been watching so, TikTok was offline for like 12 hours. So it's like, what am I gonna do this
Yeah,
weekend?
exactly.
I've been watching, but I've been doing this anyway. I've been watching travel videos. Okay. So ever since there was the whole thing about that, I don't know. I always want to say H1N1, but that's the flu, right? Bird flu.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
visa thing. The visa thing. It's like H something, HBs. I don't know what it is. Anyway, the work
Visa?
visas that people come here and work.
Okay, okay,
And there was a
okay.
big controversy about about a certain country. And anyway, somebody linked this is horrible. I hope I don't offend anybody, but I'm never going to this country, India.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
somebody had posted a link to this guy's travel vlog from India, and he's a
Uh-huh,
British guy, and he's like, "It's the worst." Basically, his title is like, "This is the worst country ever," right? And
uh-huh. Oh,
it's
no.
just I had heard, and I've heard from people that have visited there. I don't know how. I mean, I guess I know how they live there, but I don't know how I could never visit there. There are
Mhm.
so many people everywhere he went, and he was with a couple other guys at certain points.
Uh-huh.
Everywhere there's so many people, they're in your face. They're yelling. I'm like, you can't be an introvert in that country. Like how can you be an introvert? There's people everywhere.
Were they surrounding him
Also,
because there was, like, a camera? And they wanted to be, like,
no,
in front
it's
of the
just like
camera?
it's
Oh.
just no, there's people everywhere, but like I do think they see like a big tall white guy and think,
Oh,
well, he's got money because then they're like trying to sell him something or what, you know
okay,
what I mean?
okay.
So but
Mhm.
that's a lot. That's in a lot of places. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a lot of places you travel. They're like, oh, tourists. There's just people everywhere. Oh my God, I could never. Never. His name is Bald and Bankrupt.
I was gonna say
He's an
that.
English. Huh?
I knew that's who you were talking about.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I watched a bunch of his stuff and then I watched somebody else he travels with, Backpacker Ben, and then through them they were in India one time and they met up with Small Brained American.
Oh, I don't know
He's
that
like a
one.
millennial guy.
Oh,
And I've
okay.
been watching him. I watched him this weekend, and
Oh my
he's travel
gosh.
anyway, back to smoking, because that's the topic at hand. Some of these countries, like, they're just smoking everywhere. Like, China, everybody smoke. Like, all the men
Yeah,
smoke in China. It's
yeah.
crazy. And he's
I think
like,
so
and
too.
the millennial guy, he's like, oh, he was like in Japan or something. He's like, I'm gonna go have a drink in this bar. He's like, I think I can smoke in here. And he did. He pulled out a cigarette and had a smoke. I was like, oh my God. But there's like, he's in there with old guys who are smoking.
Yeah, that whole, like, personal space, I would be like I would feel like I would have such anxiety.
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh, back up. What do you want? Don't talk to me."
I mean, they have like how many billion people? I mean, it's a big country, but it's not bigger than US, you know what I mean? So all these
Well, you
people are
mean
just
land-wise, right?
yeah, yeah, area, yeah. They
India's
went to
population is 1.4 billion.
I'd be out.
Yeah.
Then I was watching the American guy. The last one I watched of him the other day was he went to Bhutan, which is, up next to like Nepal, between China. It's like on the Himalayas.
That's the name of the
And
country?
yeah,
Bhutan?
they're all Buddhists. They didn't allow tourism until 1974. You go, you have to have like a guide the whole time. He was like, "This is not my vibe," because he's like a,
Yeah.
backpacker wanderer. He's like, "This is not my vibe," because he was like with a tour guide like the entire time, except like he took him to a city and he was allowed to like walk around without him.
Mhm.
They don't want their, you know, they don't want their culture tainted by outsiders.
Sure.
It's
You went down
crazy.
that rabbit hole. So now do they have TikTok accounts? Are you following them on TikTok now that
You
TikTok's
know what?
back?
I didn't look, but I need to. And I
Mhm.
need to find some more because I've it's just I've been doing other stuff, but I had them on. I'm just watching
Uh-huh.
them.
We used to watch somebody, it was a long time ago, like pre-COVID. I can't remember who it was, but he would travel with that guy or like meet up with that guy sometimes. But yeah, we watched those too. I don't
Mhm.
remember why we stopped. I think he did something that we were like, that seems unethical. And then we just kind of was like, we got the icks from him and we stopped watching him. I can't remember who it
Which
was.
one?
It was none of, I can't remember his name. I'll it'll
Was it
come
the
to me.
bald and banker guy or was it somebody different?
No, it wasn't him. It was none of those
Oh,
people
okay.
you said. It was somebody else, but
Mhm.
he had met up
Oh,
with that guy
I
at some point.
yeah. Mhm.
He might not even be doing it anymore, but,
Yeah, I don't
yeah, we used to
those are
watch
the
those
3
too.
that I found from that. Yeah, I
Mhm.
I find it fascinating. I like to watch the countries that I know I'll never go to, although I was watching the American guy in Japan because I would like to go to Japan.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
pretty cool. But I will never go to India. I couldn't
Yeah.
handle it.
Mhm.
I was sweating and stressing while they're in one of those rickshaws or tuk-tuks or whatever they
Yeah,
call them,
yeah.
and like they're in traffic and guys are trying to sell them stuff and they're like, "No, no, no," and like the guys are like throwing the thing they're trying to sell at them and like trying to take money from them and they're like, we don't want it, get away," and
Oh
I'm
my
just like,
gosh.
I can't.
Well, I guess, anybody listening, let us know, if you've been to India. Would you go to India? What was your experience in India? 'Cause, we have to see if, maybe you can change Mo's mind and she'll travel she'll travel to India.
I don't think you're gonna change my mind. Although they say that people comment all the time and say, "Oh, you go to the wrong places. You need." And
Um,
there probably are some places, but like when you go somewhere, you usually hit like the big city or you know what I mean? Like you want the
yeah.
attractions and this and that. You don't want to go to the farm where there's nothing happening, you know?
True, that's true. So Mo, now that, Trump is in office, Biden is gonna have to go back home. I need to know, I'm gonna ask you every week, have you seen Biden yet?
No.
No. We're gonna have a Biden watch because Mo lives down the street from Biden. In my mind, Mo lives down the street from
I live
Biden,
in the
so
I live in the mansion down the street. I actually live maybe like 4 or 5 miles away.
mhm.
Not far.
So we're gonna have Biden watch for the next 4
My
years.
mansion is not far from his. So
Week 1 is a no. We'll write that in the books. Week 1, no Biden sighting. It's gonna be an interesting 4 years, but at least TikTok's back, so that's the one
yeah,
pro.
no.
And when TikTok went down, I was kinda bummed because I have goals for 2025. I think I talked about it last
Right.
week,
Yeah.
and my goal is to hit 10,000 by, the end of the year, so, New Year's Eve, and I think when we started, I had 766. So today, I have 902. I'm chugging along. Chugging along,
And
Mo.
that's awesome.
I think that we should have a vote. Let us know if you want some Dash of Sass cigar merch. Could you just see our logo wrapped around a cigar? I think I'm gonna make
I
some.
shouldn't do that. How do you do a
That
cigar like this? Like a cigarette?
uh
I don't
No,
know.
yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think that's how you smoke them. Yeah. Mo's trying to do this. We know what she's doing. No, oh yeah, that is how people do them.
Yeah, like
Those
this,
big
right?
fat.
It
Yeah,
looks
exactly.
stupid when you have nothing in your hand. Just saying. If you're listening to this, it looks stupid.
My
Oh, that's
gosh.
what I wanted to say about Bhutan. Penises everywhere.
What? What do you mean, like statues?
They have penis things everywhere. It's their symbol against the evil eye, painted everywhere, little
What?
statues in the shops everywhere. Amy, you would love it.
Wow. Oh my God, no. You well then but you need to go there and buy a bunch of merch so you can flip it because it
Buy a bunch of
it sells.
penises.
It sells. Weird sells, right? Mike, this is the last thing I'll say. My kid went to Spain during in middle school, like on a school trip, and he brought back they make like Christmas ornaments or something, but it's basically like a guy pooping. But we had heard about him and we were like, "Oh my gosh." And apparently they're everywhere. It says this figure is a symbol of good luck, fertility, and prosperity. Is it not coming up? And
There he is.
it's funny. Oh wait, I swear that's what ours looks like. Maybe I can't remember. I haven't seen it in so long, but I'm gonna look
That's
for it. So
hilarious.
next week I'm gonna bring it to the stage and show you guys.
Okay. The pooper.
Oh,
El poopo.
mhm. Oh, pooper. Good luck, fertility, and something. So with that,
I mean,
Mo,
that's
what'd you say?
I said he's the original poop emoji. I don't know.
Right. So with that, guys, stay sassy. Bye.
Thanks so much for watching and check out more of our videos right here. Stay sassy.